Belonging to the Icteridae family, which includes birds such as the Baltimore oriole, rusty blackbird, grackle, and meadowlark, this medium-sized songbird can be found throughout nearly the entirety of North America and much of Central America. The red-winged blackbird. Most of the population that breeds in Canada heads south for winter, with some leaving as early as the first couple of weeks in August. Migration takes place during daylight hours, usually in very large flocks, with some traveling 800 miles before reaching their destination. During this time, they often visit feeders where they happily eat all kinds of different food, like black oil or hulled sunflower seeds, as well as other sunflower mixes. When attracting these birds, there is a lot of other food that can be offered, such as corn, peanut hearts, oats, millet, and milo. Feeders that are large enough to support them, such as tube or hopper styles, and especially platform, work really well. They are just as happy feeding on the ground though, as this is typically how they forage in a wild setting. So you can sprinkle some of their favorite foods under the feeders or on a walkway. For some people, having red-winged blackbirds visiting a feeder is a welcome sight, but for others, not so much. This is because they can come to feeders in large numbers and often with other less desirable blackbirds like grackles or other birds like starlings. It is tricky but possible to keep blackbirds away from feeders. One way is to set out food for them on one side of the yard, on an open flat feeder using cheaper stuff such as cracked corn. Another harmless way is to have smaller feeders that they can't use. I've always found that so sad to do though, especially over migration, when they are just looking for much needed food to fuel up on. In my experience, I've never had to deal with any damage or negative side effects of having grackles or starlings, so maybe my view is too narrow of one. Everyone's experiences and likes are different. Some can tolerate it and others can't. There is something to consider though when it comes specifically to red-winged blackbirds. They play an important role in the environment. Their consumption of pest insects and weeds in large quantities helps larger plants and crops to flourish. In this regard, farmers benefit from them over their breeding season. Since redwings are also preyed on by predators like hawks, they are an important food source too. Over recent years, their numbers have dropped a fair bit, leaving conservationists concerned for the species, so maybe be a little kind to them. If you see a flock of blackbirds, a couple of things to keep in mind. Over fall, male redwings aren't as boldly colored as they are over the breeding season. Their red shoulder patches are not as prominent. Females look like a different species. Rather than black, they are brown and very streaky, much like sparrows. However, they are larger with a thin, pointed bill. For those who like to get out and explore, especially since autumn can have such comfortable temperatures, check for red-winged blackbirds in mixed species blackbird flocks. In agricultural fields, feedlots, pastures, and grasslands, where they feed on weedy seeds such as ragweed and cocklebur, as well as native sunflowers and waste grains. The red-winged blackbird is adored for its beautiful song that has become synonymous with marshes and wetlands over spring, affecting us in a fond, pleasant way. Over fall, I think it is only fair to offer them some help, at least for a short while, so that as March approaches each year, we can continue to hear their soothing voices. If you'd like to get even more knowledgeable, check out this full red-winged blackbird overview video on the screen now, where you can learn about their calls and much more, helping you to better recognize them. Thank you for watching. Happy birding!